And if you're feeling it right now, if you're feeling this intense pressure, it doesn't mean your business is going to fall apart. It doesn't mean you don't have a foundation. It means you need to make some changes. Thank you for joining me for this episode of Mindset Mastery. And man, I have a lot to talk about today. There's a lot on my mind. There's a lot of just moving parts, right? Anytime that you're in a position of influence, that you're in a position of being visible to others, there's always this additional responsibility that we have to carry. You know, when you cross a line of a new form of success, it's like there's a pressure of you always keeping that success, right? When you cross that threshold, all of a sudden the pressure that you must always perform at that level is on you. If you go on social media and showcase that you work out every day, now there's this additional pressure that you got to showcase that. And at the moment you don't, at the moment you stop doing these things, it feels like you're out of compliance, right? You're out of integrity, that you almost shame yourself. You're less confident, less certain. All of a sudden, these feelings start popping up of anxiety, of nervousness, right? Like this level of confidence is no longer there, and things might be good, like your bank accounts are good, your bills are getting paid, but there's still this nervousness, and it's hard to shake off. And I can't tell you how many times I felt that throughout my career. As a matter of fact, I was feeling that this morning, and I journaled about it. I'm going to share that with you. You see, I have these big visions, right? The reason you're here selling real estate, the reason you're here with Agents and Associates, it's because you saw a big vision for yourself. And it's there. It was promised to you, right? Whenever we see something in our mind, we feel it in our soul, it's already been promised. We asked for it. What we don't realize is that there's things on our side that we must now do in order to obtain that promise. And it's the hardships that break us down. It's the challenges that we think it's not the path I was supposed to go on. Maybe that vision was just a fallacy because, well, things are not happening for me. I'm doing everything in my power. And yet we feel like maybe this is the wrong road. We start questioning our whole motive of why we got into the industry to begin with. We fall trapped to the fact that we can't overcome this obstacle, this simple obstacle. So now it's like feeling overwhelmed. And I'm just talking like this because this is the way I feel, right? Here I have like these multiple businesses, but there's this immense pressure, this intensity that I'm not doing enough. And if I'm being outright truthful and honest, I'm not. And I see this now, like this is the reason why I'm feeling a little nervous, a little anxious. And there's this additional pressure because, well, now I start hearing all these other problems of the people that I care about. You, as the agents of Agents and Associates, people that are close to me, that maybe didn't prepare as well to be able to handle a downturn. Maybe they've put their marriage on a back burner and now they're facing divorce and it's hard and they're broken. Maybe they're having these health issues caused by the stress and lack of proper nutrition. And it's debilitating them, it's debilitating their family, and it's just, they're in this place of not only nervousness and anxiety, but now this place of not even feeling the purpose to continue to move forward. Of sadness, and that's different. Anxiety is not necessarily sadness. Of hopelessness. Nervousness is not hopelessness. So now they're piling up all these layers. And I can't help but to think about those things, right? So now I'm dealing with my own pressures of what I want. And then I'm hearing all these other stories, and it's like, that's heavy. I'm human. I care about you. I know it's hard. And all of a sudden, everything just seems harder. The basics of what we should do as a real estate agent, as a person in business, all of a sudden seems harder. like trying to create that bond again with your family, all of a sudden seems harder. Eating right seems harder. Going to the gym seems harder. Doing the right things is difficult. So what happens? This anxiety now overwhelms us, this nervousness. And I had to write about this, and I want to share this with you in the hopes that you get something out of it, because I did. I have more clarity now. I'm pumped up. I'm fired up. But I had to process my own thoughts, because we have so many crossroads we have to face, and it's like, is this working for me or is it not? Am I making things worse, or am I taking steps to something better? These crossroads and you're going to face this crossroad maybe 10, 15, 20 times today alone. And every time you choose the former, the things that don't serve you, all it does is grow that anxiety and nervousness. And then that anxiety and nervousness turns into hopelessness and sadness. And it's insane, because anxiety and nervousness can also work for you, where you feel confident and focused, because we see it as a sign. Like, I'm seeing those feelings now as a sign. The only reason I'm feeling that pressure is because I wanted something so great. And I told you, and I declared it to you all 5 years ago, that you would not recognize my life 5 years later. My life is radically different. There is no comparison. And the vision I have 5 years from now, it's overwhelming. Just the same way you do. When you got into this industry, you thought things were going to be great. You were able to afford all the things you did, and you got a glimpse of it. The last 3 years, you got a glimpse of it. But all of a sudden, things got harder. But it doesn't mean your vision is off. It's an indicator. Your mindset must get better. Your skill sets must be greater. This nervousness and anxiety is the sign that things need to change, not the sign that things are going to fall apart. My check engine light on my car is not saying that my car is going to fall apart. It's telling me, hey, check it out. There's some things you need to correct here. There's some oils you need to change. It doesn't mean it's falling apart. And if you're feeling it right now, if you're feeling this intense pressure, it doesn't mean your business is going to fall apart. It doesn't mean you don't have a foundation. It means you need to make some changes. Because that same anxiety and nervousness will turn into hopelessness and sadness. Or it could propel you forward to find solutions. And maybe, just maybe, that intuition, that's the built-in accountability partner we've all been seeking. We don't need anyone else. Just need to listen to that feeling, to that voice. That's the accountability partner. It's not going to leave until you start doing something towards it. But we misinterpret things all the time. My car's not falling apart. I just need to put more air in my tires. But when we avoid it, we end up stranded on the side of a highway. Then it becomes the only focus. If you avoid the signs, if you avoid the work, you're going to create a situation where that's your entire focus. You won't be able to focus on your family. You won't be able to focus on your health. You put yourself in a dangerous position. So this is the built-in accountability partner that we all have, and I want you to lean into it. You asked for something greater. I want you to lean into it. So I'm going to read you what I wrote, because I too am on the same path as you are. It's not that I'm always confident. I just work through it. And I'm going to get through this. All right, you guys ready for this? If you allow me to share it, and this is the first time I'm going to read it since I wrote it this morning. And so just bear with me, okay? Will you do that? So I put here, my mind is all over the place. I can't focus on the task at hand. It's hard to do the simple stuff. Nervousness and anxiety are controlling my thought processes. They are showing up in ways I hate. I am showing up in ways that I hate. I'm short with my family. I have no patience. And your energy sucks. The anxiousness is controlling my thought process. I feel I'm not doing enough to lead. I feel like this was all luck. When I hear many agents around me struggling, I feel like maybe I didn't teach them enough. Maybe I feel responsible for their shortcomings. Maybe I didn't feel like I prepared them enough. There is a guilt within me that feels I failed them. I try to warn them through my words. I try to encourage them through my actions. I was telling them how important it was for them to prepare for a time like this, because I knew that this adjustment was going to rob them of their confidence. They will begin to question themselves as producers. They will feel the burdens in the same way I feel. The same way I feel. Look and associate with my family. The burdens will affect their energy. I'm just in this place where I feel I'm not doing enough or doing what I'm supposed to do. It has compounded the results of my anxiety and production. I feel I make moves, but I also feel like it's not enough. There are things I need to be doing immediately to put in a position of power. There are simple things I need to focus on today that I need just to execute on. It doesn't need to be overcomplicated. It doesn't need to be perfect. It just needs to be done. Nothing about my feelings will change unless I do what's on my mind. Otherwise, the guilt and the uncertainty will fester. There is no channel to release. The work is the release of the tension, of the anxiety, of the unknown. It is a release valve of the negativity. Negativity is like still water. The container is in my head. It will affect my self-worth. It affects my energy towards the things that need to be done. Still water becomes nothing but a cesspool of thoughts. And it's not that my mind is all over the place. It's not that I'm not committed. It's not that I'm incapable. It's that I was trying to circumvent the work, thinking if you had things outside of what you have presently, it is a solution to your non-production. If you had better systems, if you had a better supportive spouse, if you had the right sphere of people, if you had a better camera, if you had more clarity, if you were a different brokerage, then I'd have a better understanding. I want to control my mind and provide the water from sitting still by just doing the minimum requirements. I would breathe positivity in my mind. I would become clear and a beacon of the work. I want to know that it's okay. I'm generally concerned about my agents' problems. I'm generally concerned about their well-being. But you show them every day. You show you by what you do. I can't tell you anything different. I don't know what evidence you need. I don't know how else to be able to assist you. Do the work. Do it every day. Do it with intention. Do it regardless of the hardships and obstacles. You have full control of your outcomes. Don't put it on me. Don't put it on your perceived shortcomings. Your shortcomings are the lack of focus on the skill set. That is all. I want to realize that anxiety and nervousness is my check engine light. It is an indication that something is not right. It is telling you to do a diagnostics on your business. Are things running correctly? Is it firing on all cylinders? Is your follow-up strategy working? Is your marketing consistent? It is telling you to check it now. Your systems, are your systems aligned? Have you learned the contract? Is it telling you something is off? It is also an indication that you don't get it checked out. It will do something beyond the point of repair. The check engine light is on your mind. What is it? What if your engine overheats? What if it is not enough and cause you major issues to your engine? Now that the pressure is on, how can you be certain your car won't be stranded by the side of the highway with a blown tire? How do you know you are safe? The brake lights are on. There is no uncertainty. There is no focus on coming home to a nice dinner. You're worried about the vehicle that gets you from point A to point B. This all comes together here. The fact is, you can be in a place where things are just sitting still. You can't avoid the signs. You were given a gift of intuition in the form of nervousness and anxiety. Feeling it sometimes is better than just running away from it. It's not meant for you to shut down, but means coping with the feelings. It requires a deep dive into the cause of it. What is not being done, what is you said, and you haven't done. You will remain overwhelmed if you don't begin with something. The anxiety will not go away. It will compound, and you have to choose which path you will take. It's a progression of the work. I want more, and I want it easy. That is a contradiction. I want to read that again. It's a progression of the work. You can't want more and then want it easy. It's just a contradiction. More comes from the discipline and focus. More comes from becoming more. I can't sit in place of pity. I have to realize what it took to get here. I said 5 years ago my life would be unrecognizable, and it is. The person I've become to create this brokerage and my businesses is the biggest win. It's not the finances. It's not my house. It's not my investments. It's not the building. It's the person I had to become to create this. It's the obstacles I had to overcome. It's the amount of the crossroads I had to face, the stress I took on, the fights in my own head. It puts things in perspective, an indicator of the work that needs to be done, to be in alignment of what is required. It's there because I much need this to build it. It's a scary road, and it's calling me on my BS. Anxiety is telling me the truth. The truth is debilitating me. I must accept these signs. I must just lean into the work. This is my check engine light. It is my brake light. The signs are there, and it's calling me out. It's not meant for me to shut down or to believe that the process is broken. It just means I need to do something about it. We all have this intuition. We must do our part to listen to what it has to say to us. An internal audit must be performed. Once the diagnosis comes back, now it's our job to do something about it. Anxiety will not go away without your focus and intention. We can all process anxiety and nervousness one of two ways. We can see it as the car is falling apart, worry that we will leave us stranded on the side of the highway, or that a tire will blow out, or we can see it as a sign to make the machine work as designed. We can see it to make the machine work as designed. To be the vehicle of certainty and confidence. Working on the car, working on your vehicle does not mean it's broken. It just needs to be fine-tuned. I must look at where I need to fine-tune things. So as you start looking at the entire thing, it's like, and what I got out of my journaling this morning is like, it's just calling me out. It doesn't mean that I failed anyone. I try to pre-warn you, and what I'm finding out now is that I'm better served when you learn your own lesson. I can tell you the stories of how to avoid the hardships that I went through. But sometimes you have to embark on that journey. And it was never my job to keep you away from those hardships. I mean, I was looking at it all wrong. It was intended for me to tell you these stories so you don't make these mistakes. It was intended to me to be here when you do make those mistakes. That's where the greatest power comes from. That's where I can better serve you. It's giving you a simple plan that, hey, it can be done. And I've been there. Not to try to keep you away from it. So as I look back and I start looking at, all these stories that I'm getting of individuals that have made the same mistakes that I try to warn you about, I did not fail. And you didn't fail. You need to learn the lessons that come attached to these obstacles. But now we have to do something about it. Because just like we created the mistake, we have the solution. And that uneasy feeling that you have does not mean that the vehicle is busted or broken. It means there needs to be some changes. So I think we all just need to do a self-diagnostic on our actions today. Like, what can we do today to better the vehicle? Otherwise, it's going to fall apart. It's going to turn into hopelessness and sadness. And you will not be able to serve anyone under those conditions. I've been there. And I failed on my family. I failed on my wife. I failed on my business. Because those indicators, I misread them. And we all have them right now. So if you're feeling it, thank God for that. It's the built-in intuition. It's the built-in accountability partner we've all wanted. So now we just analyze, okay, what is it that I'm not doing? Because you have a grander vision. Don't let go of that vision. I'm feeling this pressure because that vision is huge. And I'm going to lean into it. And I'm telling you right now, my life is not going to be the same as it is today. And I hope that you're having the same conversation with me. And not just simply spectate. And not just simply say, I'm so proud of you, AZ. I don't need that. I don't need you to be proud of me. I need you to be proud of yourself. So I'm inviting you to come along. And I'm with you. I'm feeling it. I'm with you. I got a lot of stuff to do. But I'm not going to take shelter. I'm not going to fall apart. I'm just going to fine-tune some things. And I use my 12-week target book just to simply write out what I can do today. And that's all I can accomplish is what I can do today. What I didn't do, it doesn't serve me. What I could do doesn't serve me. It's what am I going to do today? And I'm inviting you because this process has taken me this far. And I appreciate the feedback. I appreciate you telling me that you're proud of me. I appreciate you all. But I want you to look at your own journey. And you have a lot to be proud of there. But there's more within you. And that's why you're feeling this way. Don't hold back. Don't sabotage yourself. There's indicators. And it's a beautiful thing. Our body is full of indicators. But we're just avoiding them. Your business is full of indicators. But somehow you're avoiding the signs. Your marriage. There are signs right before you of how you can turn this around, but you're avoiding them. This is what must happen. We must have the space to understand how to interpret those indicators. If your stomach is always feeling upset, it's an indicator. Guys, like you're putting the wrong foods in your body. It's telling you this is wrong. If your body's not serving you, there's something wrong with it. You can see it in the mirror. You can feel it in your gut. But you're avoiding those signs just because you're going to the gym every day. You're avoiding what health is all about. There's indicators of your marketing and your sales, but you're avoiding them just because you think you come to the office every day. You're seeing what a true business requires. And there's indicators of your marriage, but you're avoiding them because you're in your mind, you're like, I'm not cheating. You're avoiding everything else. So let's dive into that. Let's embrace that voice. Let's embrace that feeling. And once you give some space just to do a self-diagnostic, you'll understand exactly what to do next. Guys, I want to thank you for joining me for this episode of Mindset Mastery. Have a great day, and I will talk to you soon. Bye now. Thank you for joining us for this episode of Badass Agents Podcast, brought to you by AZ & Associates and Do the Work Coaching and Consulting. You can watch this and other episodes by subscribing to our channel on YouTube or by visiting us directly at badassagents.com. And of course, you can listen to this episode and many others on your preferred podcast provider.